Hey you guys, so now I'm going to go ahead and do the live demo portion of Joachim and I's presentation. I am going to be showing you guys how to do the homework that Joe and I have set up for y'all. It's very straightforward. All that we're going to have you guys do is go to the repository that we've set up. This is simply a repository for demonstration purposes as part of the live demo. So it's not going to look exactly like this, but it is going to look very similar to this. A couple of things that I need to make sure that you guys need to make sure that you have before trying to attempt the homework. Make sure that you have Git installed on your local machine. Make sure that you have VS Code installed on your local machine. That is what I'm going to be using for the demonstration. And then also make sure that you have a GitHub account and that you have signed into your GitHub account on your VS Code. So what I'm going to show you guys how to do now is you're going to open up an instance of Visual Studio Code, and here right on the front before you've done anything there's going to be this button on the Get Started page called the Clone Git Repository button. You're going to click on that and it's going to ask you or prompt you for a URL up here at the top. That URL is where the repository is located. You're going to go to the repository that Joe and I have set up on GitHub, hit this green code button that's up here, and copy the link using this button right here. Going back to Visual Studio Code, you'll simply paste that URL up here in this URL box at the top and hit enter. It's going to ask you to place that cloned repository in a folder somewhere on your local machine. I am going to go here to my documents. I'm going to create a new folder. I'm just going to call it Get Practice. It doesn't matter what you call this folder. It doesn't even matter where you put it, as long as you remember what it's called and you remember where you put it. That's all that's important. So then you'll select that repository location. Once it's cloned the repository, do go ahead and open up that repository. And so now the folder where the cloned repository is going to be open here on your VS Code editor. And you'll see that the README here that we had in the remote one on the website is now also here on your local machine. And all that you're going to do at this point is literally just add your name. And so I'm going to put mine in, David Hawkins, and I've included like a little title marked down. And what you're going to do after that is open up an instance of Git Bash, and you're going to navigate to where that cloned repository is located using the command cd. I know that mine is located in the folder called Git Practice, and then you can use the command ls to look at anything that's inside of any of the folders that you're navigating to. I'm going to navigate to the demo, and as you can see, it changed here. It added what branch we are in as part of the GitHub repository. This right here is the main or the master branch. And so commands that we execute here are going to change our repository. So now, and I need a note, before you do anything else, do make sure that you save any changes that you make. Otherwise, the commands that I'm going to show you next are not going to work correctly. Now I'm going to navigate from the Explorer page to the source control page here on VS Code. And as you can see, we have some changes that were made. What I'm going to do next is simply git add, and this period is a placeholder. All that the git add command does is it changes our changes from a regular change to a staged change, as in they are now ready to be pushed to the actual repository. Not pushed, I'm sorry, committed. The next step that you'll do is a git commit command, and I'm going to include a message with my commit. I do recommend including messages when you do any of your commits, so that you know what you were doing with it later on. I'm just going to say added my name. And so now our changes have been committed, and we can simply hit this button here to sync those changes, but I'm going to show you guys what that terminal command looks like. Syncing the changes means that you push those changes to the actual master branch or the main branch on the actual remote repository on GitHub. That command is git push -u origin, and whatever is written here, it could say master, it could say main. What is that branch that you're pushing your changes to? And so that's going to push our changes to the remote branch. As you can see, those changes are gone. And if I go back here to GitHub and reload the page, it's not just going to say Joe's name anymore. You're going to see that my name was added there. That's all it is, guys. It's pretty straightforward, pretty easy. Let Joe and I know if you have any questions at all, and thank you guys for your attention.